Am I the asshole for backing out of babysitting last second? I'm 31F. The neighbor guy is in his 30s. Single dad. 2 kids around age 10 and 12. He works overnight shift. Don't know him well but seen him in passing. The guy knocks on my door one day. He asks for a one-time favor, says his ex-wife got sick and can't watch the kids tonight. He's going to get fired and can't find a sitter, but he's broke and can't afford one. I tell him no big deal. I'll just sleep at his house and leave in the morning. Only once though. I go to his house that evening and the kids are already asleep. He shows me his bedroom and says he doesn't want me sleeping on the couch because it's too expensive, so I have to sleep in his bed. We go to the kitchen and he tells me no eating their food or drinking their bottled water, our town's tap water is gross. I see a huge computer screen with many boxes on it and realize this man has surveillance cameras all over his house. He tells me the cameras have audio and he can listen into anyone's conversations anytime. I ask him kindly if he would shut off the audio because I do not want my phone conversation being recorded if someone calls me tonight, and to stop the cameras in his bedroom because I don't want him filming me as I sleep. This is an absolute no from him. He says I could hurt his kids or say something bad to them if I'm not constantly being monitored. I say these measures are a bit excessive. He says you're already being recorded all the time in public. I say that's irrelevant, and he needs to accommodate me because I'm doing him a favor. He says the favor I'm doing him is not that big of a deal because I'd be sleeping anyway. I tell him there are plenty of things I'd rather be doing right now than saving him from getting fired. That's when things get ugly. He says I'm going to make him late over nothing. I say I'll stay awake all night but you owe me $50 for being here for 8 hours with no food, no water, and no way to sleep. He says he already told me he cannot pay. I walk out. A couple weeks later, neighbor guy is still furious at me because he lost his job. He's going around telling people in our neighborhood that I got him fired, that I may have wanted to hurt his kids, that he suspects I was going to steal things, and that I tried to scam him. He says he wants to sue me, but I don't see how he could. Most of our neighbors realize his accusations are baseless, but they think I overacted. They say I should have stayed at the house and let the guy have his way. They think the odds of him using anything against me or doing anything inappropriate with the footage were slim to none. He was only trying to feel in control. Edit. Some people are asking, wasn't it suspicious that he couldn't just drop the kids off at the sick mother's house and they would fend for themselves? I just assume she might have the coronavirus and the kids should stay away from it because you can't get vaccinated at that age. More edits. Did I think it was suspicious that he had expensive stuff in his house but didn't have money to pay me? Very. That's why I ultimately told him to pay. I thought he was using his paycheck for unnecessarily expensive things, and then when he went broke, he was relying on charitable deeds to cover his living expenses. Why do kids need a babysitter at night if they're ages 10 and 12? I don't exactly know. I do know we have shootings, robberies, and kidnappings. Also, if DCFS, Child Services, is after you, you can't have people reporting that your kids are home alone or your kids could be taken away. It's not unheard of for older kids around here to need supervision for these reasons. Am I the asshole for backing out of babysitting last second because I didn't realize I'd be filmed sleeping? Not the asshole. Yikes. You absolutely made the right call. Dude wanted to film you sleeping in his bed. Not the asshole he can afford all that surveillance crap, but can't pay for a babysitter? The couch is too expensive to let you sleep on it, but he can't afford to pay a babysitter? This is both feed up and creepy. I think you dodged a bullet on this one. Not the asshole. It's highly unlikely that he got fired for being late or not showing up one time. He's either got previous issues or was exaggerating. Cameras with audio also means that his kids are constantly being recorded 24/7 too. This goes into extreme paranoia. Either way, he's responsible for childcare. He's responsible for backup childcare. Not the asshole. The situation you describe is fodder for a horror film. No way. Not the asshole. This guy sounds like a lunatic, and him saying you have to sleep in his bed sets off major alarm bells. Let him talk crap all he wants to the neighbors, he'll dig his own hole. He asked a stranger to watch his kids. Strike 1. He expected you to go without food and water all night. Strike 2. He thought you should be fine with the surveillance. Strike 3. He's out of his flipping mind. If you were an evil doer, you could harm his kids while he watched on the monitor because he would be too far away to stop you. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. This guy sounds like a lunatic and I think you were right to turn him down. No food and or water. Seriously weird. Your neighbors are totally off base on this and need to mind their business. Not the asshole that sounds super creepy, and I agree with what others have said. Unlikely he got fired for not getting a last-min sitter one time. Not sure where you are, but that much surveillance could be pushing legal boundaries with his children. Couch too expensive to sleep on? With 2 kids. Yep, too creepy. Am I the asshole for asking for either my PS4 or $1,000 from my brother during his time of need? Hi, Reddit. I'm in a bit of a pickle right now and I could use some moral judgment. This is a bit of a long read, so feel free to skip to the too long did not read. At the end. I, 19F, very avidly play video games. To give you an idea of how passionate I am about them, I'm currently going to college for video game development and computer science. And most people know that playing video games has become a pretty expensive hobby. So back when I was a preteen, I received a PS4 as a Christmas gift from my dad. I had to pay for all games and anything extra, but that's okay. So I've bought tons of games and have probably spent nearly $1,000 in games and DLC. All from my own pocket. A few years ago, my older brother, 25M, started liking video games too. So he began using my PS4 regularly, to the point that he used it more than even I did. We began splitting the prices of games we wanted to play, and it made it easier on both of us doing that. Here's where the issue comes in. My brother had been living at home for a couple years while he went to a community college in our hometown. But a couple years back, he moved several hours away to attend a different college. When he did that, he took the PS4 with him. I was not made aware of this until he had already moved out. I came back home one day from a friend's house to find that the console, controllers and all of the games were missing. Turned out he lied to our mom that I had given him permission to take it. Turns out, his girlfriend had apparently taken a liking to The Sims 4 and played it pretty much non-stop on our PS4 and wanted to make her happy. I made the decision that once he graduated and worked full-time, that I'd ask for him to either return the PS4 and all games, controllers, and game drives, or to reimburse me for it. Now that time has come. He graduated months ago and ended up landing a great paying job. So I finally took the time and asked him what I stated in the previous paragraph. He ended up going off and cursing me out. Apparently, his girlfriend decided to become a stay-at-home wife and he's paying the bills. He thought I was aware of this, so he was super upset that I'd be such a greedy BTCH in his time of need. I told him that he didn't have to give me money if he just gave back what was mine. And if he did give me money, I didn't need it right now nor in a single payment. But he said that his girlfriend was super attached to it, so he couldn't do that to her. We argued more before he ended up hanging up and blocking me on everything. The reaction was so extreme that I'm wondering if I was wrong. I didn't realize he was having financial issues, but I guess I should have been more in the know, considering he's family. Too long did not read. I spent $1,000 plus on my PS4 and games, only for my brother to take it and refuse to return it. I asked for either all of my belongings back or to be reimbursed, but my brother is having financial hardships right now. Edit. Just found out he lied about the financial hardships. Talked to some family members and found out that the only bills he pays is the electric bill, because he's living in my grandfather's old home. I will be calling from my mom's phone tomorrow to let him know that I'm taking him to a small claims court. Thank you everyone. Not the asshole in need or not, it's your property. 100% reasonable, and I would recommend telling him either he gives you the PS4 1000s or you can call the cops on him. Also his time of need doesn't make sense. How would giving you back your PS4 make you greedy and make him poor? Not the asshole. People may say, call the police, but the police probably won't handle this civil family squabble. File in small claims court in your county for actual casts and see what a judge says. Not the asshole. Your brother literally stole from you. Not to mention, having financial difficulties yet the wife won't get a job? That's not on you. They need to get their stuff figured out. Not the asshole. He stole from you and then tried to play the victim. He got indignant because he knew he had no leg to stand on. Take his behind to small claims court. He has no right stealing something from you, then getting mad because you asked for it back. What entitled tomfoolery is that? It's not your fault he decided to get married and have his wife stay at home, nor is it an excuse. It wouldn't be an excuse for the judge either. Not the asshole. Completely not the asshole. He had time during college to save or break it to his girlfriend that this was coming. His excuses aren't warranted and you are completely in the right. The fact you gave him so much time to fix this just shows he had no intent to resolve this amicably. Not the asshole he blocked you because he knew he was in the wrong and he can't admit it. Not the asshole your brother stole your PS4 and you let him keep it for a few years. That's generous of you. But you're allowed to ask for your property back. And his girlfriend deciding to be a stay-at-home wife when they can't afford it isn't a time of need, unless she has a disability. It's a lifestyle choice. Am I the asshole for naming my son after a fictional character? Throwaway plus all names changed. I, 27 female. Recently had a son, my second child. I have Marie, who is 2. My husband is Joe, 29 male, and his mom, my Mill, 56 female. I will call my son Oscar. Joe and I have kept a list of baby names since before we were married, because it is something we both unconsciously did and thought it would be cute to join our personal lists. They are about 25 names long, both feminine, masculine, and a few gender-neutral options as well. We have never shared this list with anyone, though it's not like we keep it a secret, just it's very personal, and to be honest we don't want anyone stealing one we really like. Since I was a teenager, I had a name thought out that I really loved. The name in full sounds sophisticated enough for a professional work life, but there is a more childlike nickname that is unique. It comes from one of my favorite book series as a kid. When Joe and I found out we were having a boy, we looked at our list to revise and add. Out of the masculine names, my husband asked me about Oscar, as he had never heard of it but liked it. I told him it was very special to me and he loved it. We didn't fully decide on Oscar's name until later in the pregnancy but kept all naming businesses a secret. This past weekend we went to see Joe's family, who I have had a good relationship with. He comes from a large Italian-American family, which can sometimes be overwhelming for me because I'm introverted, but otherwise I love hanging out with them. Anyways, my Mill had apparently been talking to my husband's side of the family about how I manipulated Joe out of choosing a family name. Joe never mentioned a family name to me, and was the one to point out Oscar from the list, so I was taken aback. Mill somehow got the impression we were going to be naming our son Charles, which is Joe's middle name, and goes back a few generations paternally. Mill also mentioned that Oscar will be bullied at school for his unusual name, and that I am the asshole for naming him such a weird name and cheating them out of a family legacy. Note: Joe has 2 younger sisters and an older brother who has 2 daughters. I had been within earshot of countless demeaning conversations, but this is the first time she confronted me directly, at the dinner table. I am very non-confrontational, but I feel like I could be the asshole here. I said calmly, "I am sorry Mill, I never knew Charles was a family name. To be honest, Oscar is a very special name to me that I loved since childhood, and is more important to me than the name Charles." Paraphrased. She let out a gasp and I felt bad instantly. I didn't want to say that the name wasn't important, but at the same time I don't feel like I should apologize because I still love Oscar. Joe tried to cover my tracks and we left early. We are being flooded with calls saying I need to change Oscar's name. I am thinking of caving and just changing his middle name. So, am I the asshole? Edit. Oscar's real name is Reynard, nickname Rainy from the Mysterious Benedict Society book series. Not the asshole. Please do not change your child's name to placate Mill. If you do so, it proves to her that if she complains enough and gets enough family to harass you, you will cave. Info. Why did Joe not tell her firmly to back off? That you chose the name together and that he never mentioned Charles to you. Not the asshole. Oscar really isn't what I'd call unusual. Name him what you want. Edit. Since you posted the real name, that's cool and unique. Mill can pound sand. Not the asshole. Your child's name is the choice of your husband and yourself. Your Mill is being the asshole for being so insistent and making rude comments because you two have chosen not to use that name. Perhaps you shouldn't have said Oscar is more important than Charles, but she's being ridiculous. She had her children and named her children, and now it's your family's turn to do the same. How does your husband feel about the middle name being Charles? Does he even care? Not the asshole. Your husband needs to step up with his family. Not the asshole. Considering I came up with a kid named Gandalf, Reynard isn't a bad name. Kids can find a reason to bully no matter what, and honestly, that name is about average in terms of bully potential. He is going to outlive you and your Mill. Give him a name that will let him remember you, not your Mill. A name is the first gift you give to your child. Don't let anyone steal it from you or him. I dig Reynard, reminds me of the Reynard the Fox folk tale. Not the asshole. Your Mill named her kids what she wanted. You can name yours what you want. Info. Truthfully, this is hard to judge because we don't really know how crazy this name actually is. But based off the reaction you are getting from your immediate surroundings, you must given some very weird name. Not the asshole. You were respectful in your reply and clear that this history was not mentioned to you. And it seems like not important to your husband. I'd recommend, if you're getting inundated with calls and texts, to simply state that Oscar's name is not up for discussion and move on to another topic. If the family does not move on, then excuse yourself and say you won't be discussing Oscar's name, but to let you know when they're available for a friendly chat like usual. Am I the asshole for stealing my sister's dream wedding? My 26M sister, 28F, went to school in a town that is a popular destination for some of the people in our area. Because of this, our parents bought a condo nearby. There is a hotel there that is known for weddings. We would visit this hotel frequently and eventually became fond of the place. I had never considered getting married there until I brought my now fiancé, 25F, there on vacation for the first time 3 years ago. We would look at the rooms and talk about the idea of one day maybe being able to get married there. I also knew my sister liked the place as well, but she had never expressed any desire to get married there from my knowledge. Fast forward to this past October and my sister became engaged to her now fiancé, 28M. They ended up planning a wedding at a beautiful venue in the city next to us. After their plans were solidified, I proposed to my fiancé in May. We looked at a few places for venues but ended up exploring the hotel that we knew about from our vacations. We did our research, bargained with vendors, and scheduled a trip to visit with our parents to finalize the deal in person. Then out of the blue, my sister had a complete meltdown. She came to my mom and told her that she wants to stop us from getting married there. She claims this has been her dream wedding forever, and she won't be able to stand the sight of her brother getting married there. We tried to have a phone conversation with her where she was bawling her eyes out and asked us to cancel our plans. She said that the hotel means so much to her since she went to school near there and has more memories than we realize, and she couldn't believe we would even consider looking into it knowing how upset this made her. We also learned that her fiancé did not want to get married at the hotel, and that played a part in their venue choice. Over the past 2 months, we had brought up the venue multiple times in front of my sister and never heard any concerns from her. 2 days pass and she is still mad that we haven't cancelled our plans. My parents offered her to cancel her wedding so that she could replan hers at the hotel. She talked to her fiancé about this, and he still said that he did not want to get married there. Then, after a week of ongoing conflict, my parents and us had a final meeting on our wedding plans before the trip. Apparently, my sister had access to the camera system in my parents' house and spied on the meeting. This is where I believe I may be the asshole. She heard me say the following. I have little sympathy for my sister at this point. This sent her over the edge again. She accused my fiancé of manipulating me into having our wedding here since, there is no way my brother cares this much. Jump to last night. And we just learned that she is threatening to move across the country with her fiancé since she feels that her immediate family no longer cares about her or her feelings. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but something is wrong with your sister. For her to care that much, seemingly out of the blue, is weird. For her to bawl her eyes out and spy on you over a wedding venue is alarming. Not the asshole. She did not choose that venue and has no right to ask you not to get married there since that was her dream. Too bad her dream won't come true. Your wedding should be another nice memory at that hotel. She spied on you, that's the worst thing described in your post. Guess she'll have to move across the country since everyone isn't buying into her unreasonable demands. Not the asshole. Has she said why her fiancé is so strongly opposed to the hotel? Is the place they are going significant to him? I just can't understand why something obviously so important to her is being shut down so hard by the man marrying her. That isn't on you though, you should still get to have the wedding you want. Especially since she made no mention during all the discussions around her. Holy cow. Not the asshole. Your sister chose her venue and now she wants yours instead? And for you not to use it at all? Sorry, but something is off emotionally with your sister. Oh, for goodness sake, not the asshole. Your sister is being ridiculous. I am assuming she agreed to her new venue, so she needs to put a sock in it and look forward to the wedding she has coming up. My patience would be wafer thin with someone this entitled and this childish. Not the asshole, and your sister's reaction is so inappropriate, and so over the top, that I am wondering whether there's something going on with her that you don't know about. The whole thing is weird. Edit for typo. NTA. Help her pack. Whoa, not the asshole. Your sister sounds a little. Off.